You have Derwin James, just one of the most dynamic defensive players in the league. And
Great
you have
wrestler
players like
too.
that.
You gotta be kidding me! Oh, did he do it? Did he get it?
Yeah, Kelsey would know that one firsthand, huh?
Welcome back to the most unofficial sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Herbert. Here with my host today, Aaron and Joe. Go and say hi, guys.
Hi. If you like our content, go ahead and be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know.
Yes, we're right around the 50 subscriber mark, so your subscription is much appreciated to help us get over that hump. But other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So, in this video, we'll be taking a look at the Los Angeles Chargers off-season plans. Well, really, what the deconstruction of the wide receiver room that they've made this offseason is going to be the main thing. And then what we think what their plans might be going into the NFL draft. So, without further ado, Aaron, what are your thoughts on the Los Angeles Chargers losing not just Mike Williams, who they cut, but then proceeding to also trade away other star receiver Keenan Allen to Chicago? Do you think that Los Angeles is going to be feeling the effects of that this next year?
I mean, as a Chiefs fan, I love it. Great moves. Mike Williams always murdered us. They asked Keenan Allen to take a pay cut, and he was coming off of one of his best years.
Yeah,
So
not
why
the
on earth
best.
would he want a pay cut?
Yeah.
And he's arguably a top 10 receiver when he's healthy. That kind of being the key. So I do think they're really going to miss it. I could see them going receiver with the draft. I don't really know. There's not really a lot of big names out there for them to bring in at this point, so I don't really know what their other options are other than to look for the draft.
Hey, OBJ's out there. Mike Thomas is out there. Bringing a couple, old guys. Maybe rent some scooters for them down from the local Walmart. Potentially, that could
How'd that work out for Carolina last
be an
year?
option. Yeah. Maybe even see if you can get Adam Thielen in the door. He's almost 40. That might be a good option.
That
So,
was nice.
he was nice. He was nice with Minnesota. But Joe, you being our resident Californian kind of, you're from there. You don't live there anymore. Having grown up in San Diego while this pathetic franchise resided down there, is this just kind of the Chargers charging again? Is that really what we're kind of witnessing? Because I don't know what else.
As a San Diegan, fuck 'em. They shouldn't have left. That's what they get. As a Jim Harbaugh fan, and just as a still wanting the Chargers to do good, just from the childhood stuff, aspect of it, I have no fucking idea what they're doing right now. Them and the Bears are in complete opposite directions right now. Chargers have a franchise guy that I think everyone in the league can agree is a franchise guy. But what are we gonna do? We're gonna destroy the team around him and see what he can really do. And what are the Bears doing? We don't have a franchise guy. So what are we gonna do? Let's make our roster better so that our possible franchise guy can be successful. So for you two, I know you two are absolutely loving it. Being from San Diego, yeah, this is the San Diego team being a San Diego team. This is what they freaking do. Right when you're good, when you're actually on the bubble, just with the quarterback that they have of being a championship level team. You have a guy like Bosa, one of the best DNs in the league. You have Derwin James, just one of the most dynamic defensive players in the league. And
Great
you have
wrestler
players like
too.
that.
You gotta be kidding me! Oh, did he do it? Did he get it?
Yeah, Kelsey would know that one firsthand, huh? But like what they're doing, I have no idea. Like I'm praying to God that they have some trick up their sleeve during the draft or after, or I don't know. Like I think they're just trying to give Herbert the worst team possible. Although, they have some decent spot weapons. I'm not gonna throw them like they're all trash. I like Joshua Palmer, but
He's nice.
I don't. I don't know, to go from Keenan Allen, understanding the pay cut part a little bit, considering Bosa did do it.
Khalil did too, I think.
He's old though. He's getting older, so
Yeah.
I understand him probably wanting all the money he can get. He doesn't have like another huge contract left in him like that. So I don't know. Maybe Jim Harbaugh is trying to leave the door open to get Blake Corum and JJ McCarthy, and then he'll draft Roman Wilson probably on day 2. And then now you got Michigan's top offensive players in the draft all on one team.
Hey, what of a natty?
And maybe he thinks Michigan can win a national Super Bowl this year.
A national Super
And
Bowl.
he just calls it a day at the end of the year. I don't know.
The really
I
big
don't
game.
know.
It's weird, man. It's weird because now your top 2 receivers are like you said, no shade to Joshua Palmer, but he's not exactly on Keenan Allen or Mike Williams level for that matter.
Yeah.
And then Quentin Johnston was by far and away probably the worst rookie receiver last year, and looking like at least the biggest bust from the receiver drafted last year. So they have a lot of faith in him being able to turn it around, I suppose. I'm really surprised the Chargers decided to tear down the offense. The defense, I feel like, is what was kind of, struggling these past few years, despite them having a defensive-minded head coach in Brandon Staley. Shows you how good I guess he's good as a DC from what I hear. It was hard for me to envision that with that piss-poor effort the Los Angeles Chargers defense put up last season. So, Aaron, are you kind of surprised that they hung on to Khalil Mack specifically, and Joey Bosa over Mike Williams and Keenan Allen? Because, you could say the same thing age-wise for Keenan and Khalil, but Keenan's, been playing better at this point than Khalil probably has been. And then you could probably say the same about Joey and Mike Williams, where injuries has really been the main thing that's limited those 2 players.
Yeah, I am a little bit kind of surprised that they would, kind of like Joe said, they do have their franchise guy and they're deciding to sort of move away from the offensive direction and kind of keep some older guys on defense, kind of like you said, surprisingly Khalil Mack specifically. But what are they picking? 5, so
Yeah,
that
that's
leaves
true.
them up there drafting one of the top receivers.
Probably the
Um,
second,
so
after Marvin.
I'm surprised they let both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams go. Probably expected them to keep one of them and then look to replace the other in the draft, or maybe go Brock Bowers, get another pass catcher in there. But letting them both go, I think that kind of was a big surprise.
Yeah, I would have guessed if anything they got rid of Mike Williams because the injuries. It's been the main reason he has, even was cut was probably because injury history. Because when he's on the field, he's a stud. And then I think Khalil Mack's just to the point in his career where he probably should have been, gotten rid of as well. But I don't know.
Eric, did you know that Khalil Mack had 17 sacks last year?
I did not know he had that good of a
Okay,
year.
I'm assuming you didn't just because like the way you're saying like
Yeah.
he's kind of out the door. Like he was in the sack race up until like the last.
That's
3
fair.
weeks of the year.
Yeah, maybe I'm
Like,
mistaken him
Money
with
wise,
Bosa.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a lot, but
Maybe I'm mistaken his
sorry,
production.
I just had to make sure you
Yeah.
knew that one.
No, that's good. I'm glad you called me out on that. No, I did not know
My
Khalil had
biggest
that
thing
good of a
is
year.
gas
So.
left in the tank. I think
That's
Keenan Allen
kinda
has
what I'm-
Yeah,
a lot more
yeah.
years left than
Yeah.
It is
Khalil
age wise,
Mack.
so I went with that, but
Yeah.
that price level.
Speaking of draft picks, though, what are your kind of guys' thoughts on what they're gonna do? Because I've seen a lot of mock drafts having them move back, especially with the Vikings having 2 first-round picks now. Them being a team that might be looking to move up, and for what the Chargers, depending on what the Chargers want to get, they could probably get whatever they want. 5 picks later and scoop up an extra first with that. What are kind of your thoughts on what they're gonna do, Joe?
First off, they shouldn't have traded Mike or Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna hurt bad. I think he's one of the most underrated receivers. And I'm saying that because originally, if they still had Keenan Allen, I would have went with you. Somehow get a way to trade back a little bit and get another first rounder with someone like the Vikings or whoever you could get. I thought that would have been the better move because I think receivers, there's some good receivers in this class as a whole. It seems like I felt like you could have got another young guy later in the first round, on top of maybe Aaron throwing out Brock Bowers like. They let Gerald Everett walk through. He's in Chicago now with Keenan Allen. So they're looking for a lot of weapons. You could also go. I'm not big on first round running backs, but you might maybe try to get another running back. Eckler's gone now, so maybe you go for something there. Like that would have been my move originally. I feel like they still might, unless they're absolutely sold on a guy in the top 5. And there's some top-notch guys, but it depends on what they want out of it. If they want to go skill position, I think they should trade back and get 2 for 1.
Yeah, I could see them waiting until literally like right before their pick to move back. Wait and see if they can get Marvin Harrison Jr. and if it looks like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be off the board, or if he is off the board, then maybe go ahead and pull the trigger on a trade. Because if you can get Marvin Harrison Jr. for Justin Herbert, I think that's what you do. But that would probably more likely than not require them to move up to 4, unless a team like Minnesota comes flying in and trades with Arizona to get J.J. McCarthy or something like that, which apparently, according to some outlets, is possible. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
I personally think that they should stay put. I like them at 5.
Mm-hmm.
I like them taking a sort of generational seemingly talent in Brock Bowers. Could be like their next Rivers and Gates connection.
That'd be cool.
I also am really high on Adunze. Just seeing him make contested catch after contested catch up there in Washington, puts him right up there with Marvin Harrison Jr. for me. I know he's probably not quite as refined in the route running as Marvin Harrison Jr. is, but I don't think it's a far shot to put him away from the similar ceiling as Marvin Harrison Jr. So
Fits the
I'm really
Chargers
high on.
mold too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The kind of bigger possession guys. They kind of like that.
yeah, they do. I mean, that's what Mike Williams was coming out, and he dominated the Chiefs for several years, doing just that, jumping right over our dudes, teabagging them in the back of the helmet, and then running off with the ball. So I think it would make sense for the Chargers to. I honestly, I think both make sense. In my opinion, if they're dead set on like a Brock Bowers, I think it would make more sense to move back because I don't think he's going to go like top 5. But if you are set on more of a receiver like a Malik Neighbors or a Rome Odunze, then obviously it might be better to stick at 5 because those guys are going to go quicker with like the Giants following up and the Titans who probably need some youth in the receiving core, and then obviously the Cardinals taking Marvin Harrison.
You made a good
probably.
point. I think a lot of that's going to depend on how those picks go. Like, what if there's more quarterbacks taken than we thought, and now someone like Minnesota really wants to move up to number 5 because they need to get one of those last couple quarterbacks, or like you said, what if there's a run of receivers, and now unless you're sold on that guy, like maybe you still can trade back, but if those guys start going fast, because like 2 years ago they had like a draft, they had like 7 wide receivers get drafted straight, like it was a fast run.
Yeah.
The
And
problem with being at 5 and doing
that.
that is we kind of have a picture of the first 4 picks.
Right.
So you
Assuming
can kind of get a feel for
the
draft
Cardinals stay
around like that 10 to 15 area. Whereas at 5, you kind of know who the top 4 are, and it's like, what are the people behind me going to do? Are the guys that I want still going to be there, or are they not? And
No.
that's kind of what they got away.
That's true. I think most teams in the top 10 are just they need other positions more. Like the Falcons are probably going to get an edge rusher in Dallas Turner or somebody like that. The Jets, who are probably going to get an offensive lineman, especially since they just traded for Mike Williams. Or not traded, but signed Mike Williams. So I just don't see if for Brock Bowers specifically is what I'm talking about. If that's who they want, I think they'd be silly to stay at 5 and get him because I don't think he's going to go even top 10 because of the needs of the teams from 5 to 10. where they either need offensive linemen, they need wide receivers, which I guess they could get tight ends in that case, but like the Falcons definitely aren't going to get them. They already have Kyle Pitts. Titans maybe, but I would expect them to get more of either a lineman or an outside threat at the wide receiver position. So the Giants are probably taking a receiver. That's almost guaranteed, I feel like. You got the Jets, who are probably taking a lineman, like I said, especially with Mike Williams. And then whoever else is in that. I know the Bears have another pick, so they could potentially take a tight end, but they also like Colt Kmet. I don't know. So, but unless y'all got anything else, I think I'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube. So, Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg. Here with my co-hosts today, Aaron and Joe. Go ahead and say bye, guys.
Bye.
Figure it out, Los Angeles.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Deuces.